Get ready to see thrift flips and DIY glow-ups to make some beautiful boho home decor, all on a budget that anyone can afford. And as always, DIY treats. Welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. Hi guys, it's Aneka and welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. So today I have some ideas for you and I'm calling these thrift flips. Now, some of these items I got from the thrift store, some I got off of Facebook, some were just things I had lying around my house that honestly probably should have gone to like a garage sale a long time ago, but just never got there, and I wanted to pull them out and just give them new life. So I really hope you enjoy the boho room decor and home decor ideas that I'm going to make for you out of thrift items. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Everyone, hit that notification bell so you'll be ready when my next video comes out. And when it's over, head down to the comments and let me know which DIY was your favorite, or of course, you can always just say hi. Also, don't forget to find me on my social media platforms and show me what you have been crafting, creating, and what beauty you are putting out into the world. I love to see it. Okay guys, it's time to craft. So for my first thrift flip, I wanted to kind of try to make this lampshade. I loved the boho look of it, but $149 just was not in my budget at the moment. So I got this lamp from Goodwill and I loved it because it had a wood bottom and I liked that wood look. And I decided I could make the lampshade resemble the one in the Urban Outfitters inspiration piece. So I took the shade off and I just cut it off to get to these two metal rings that were the backbone of the lampshade. Next, I took these bamboo skewers that I just had lying around my house from the grocery store. You can also get these at the Dollar Tree, and I decided to use these in order to make that really neat bamboo style shade. Now, I put the metal rings back on my lamp just to see if I could figure out the length that I needed each bamboo skewer to be and how low I wanted the lamp shade to hang. And using a pen, I just marked the spot where I wanted to cut it. And then I used some pliers to just cut them off. And I used this one skewer kind of as a template to cut the rest of my skewers. Now, I will say that doing this way, they were not perfectly precise all the way around. And if that sort of thing bothers you, you might want to go ahead and use a ruler to measure it and make sure you get the exact length on each bamboo skewer. I kind of think that it looks nice when things are not perfect, especially when I handmade them. So having just a little bit of difference in the length did not bother me. And I think I might make one with a lot of skewers that are drastically different in length because I think that might look really cute. Next, I took all the bamboo skewers and the end that I cut with the pliers, I just used some sandpaper or a sanding stone to just sand it down and make it nice and smooth on the edge. So now I was ready to go ahead and glue them back onto my metal frames. Now, I did not measure this. I just kind of eyeballed it and made sure there was about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch on the top and bottom of the skewer, and I went ahead and glued it on with hot glue. Now, I plan for this lamp to kind of sit in my entryway and it's not going to get a whole lot of traffic, so I figured hot glue would do enough, but if you want an even firmer hold, I would recommend using a stronger adhesive like Gorilla Glue or E6000, along with a dab of hot glue to kind of hold it on there initially while the stronger adhesive dries. Now, after I place each bamboo skewer, I put a bamboo stick on to make sure that my spacing was equal for each placement, and then I went ahead and put my dabs of glue for the next skewer. This way I was able to use a bamboo skewer all the way around to make sure that everything was nice and evenly spaced. Because of the length of my lampshade, I could only get one piece of bamboo out of each skewer, and it took me an entire pack of 50 to go ahead and finish this. Of course, if you make it shorter, you can kind of double up on that and you can get further around. It's also going to depend on the size of your lampshade as to how many skewers you will need. Now, to cover up that metal ring, I decided to use twine, and I just put a little piece of painter's tape to make a sort of needle, and I wrapped it around each one of the skewers going one way, making sure to get every skewer. And then when I was done, I just reversed directions and went back the other way. And this made sort of a crisscross pattern all the way across the top and bottom of my lampshade. And it covered up that metal ring really nicely. Once I had the crisscross pattern completed, all I had to do was pop my shade right back onto the lamp base, and that was it. This was so easy to put together, and I made this lampshade for about $1 and some change when you think of the bamboo skewers and the twine that I used on it, but it definitely is a statement piece. It looks beautiful, and it makes a really cool pattern on the wall when the lamp is lit up at night, and I absolutely love how this came out. Okay, so I just want to pause right here and give a special shout out and a thank you to today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. I have got to tell you guys, I have been so thankful for Skillshare and its curated list of inspiring classes that really just help me spark my imagination, improve my creativity, and just put more beauty out into the world. Skillshare is a website where you'll find a list of knowledgeable and engaging teachers that can teach on a range of classes from plants, which I'm doing. I'm keeping my plant babies alive, and I'm happy to say that some of the tips that I learned from Skillshare have really been coming in handy. To photography, calligraphy, whatever you want to learn, you can find it right here on Skillshare. I am going to leave a link down in the description box, and the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click that link will get a free trial premium membership, and you can try out the fun classes that they have right here on Skillshare. So don't forget, after the video is over, head down to the description box and check it out. Now let's jump back into the DIYs. This next one is a sort of Pinterest-inspired DIY. I wanted to make one of these beautiful basket pendant lampshades for my new home, and I made this plan before I even had a home to make this lampshade. So I was looking for these baskets, and I finally found some on Facebook Marketplace, and they were only $15 a piece, which is a crazy price. So I went ahead and got them, and when I got them, I realized that they were huge. And then I got my house and I realized that I don't actually have the electrical wiring to make a pendant lampshade. So I had these two baskets and I had to figure out what to do with them. I still really loved them, but I wasn't sure what to use them for. So I decided to make an end table with them. So I took my two baskets and I went to Lowe's and I found this wood round. It was 24 inches, which was a little difficult to find, but I did find it at Lowe's for about $17. And I went ahead and stained it a color that I already had in my home so that this piece would kind of tie in nicely with some of the other DIY furniture pieces that I've put together in the past. Once my stain was dry, I decided to use some Gorilla Glue to go ahead and glue the basket onto the wood round. Now, this one packet of Gorilla Glue was barely enough, so if you're doing this at home, I would recommend getting more than one, and I decided to use the gel so that I could go ahead and place it on the rim of the basket and it would stay in place until I could get it flipped upside down onto the wood round. Now, in retrospect, and if you're doing this at home, I think it might be easier to connect the two baskets together before gluing it onto the wood round. But, you know, hindsight is 2020, and this did work out. It just took a little extra time and finesse to get the two baskets put together. So I glued the first basket upside down onto the wood round, and then I used zip ties to secure the second basket, the two bottom sides of the baskets together, in order to create my end table. Now, this table was just the right height with both of these baskets together, and I will say that it's not really stable enough for you to put heavy things on, but it is perfect if you want to put a lamp and a mirror and some table decor. If you're going to use this to be eating off of, like if you want to use it for a patio table or something like that, I would recommend going ahead and putting maybe a pole or another table stand in the middle of the two baskets just to make it more secure so that it'll last you for a long time to come. Now, once I got the zip ties together, all I did was put something heavy in it to weight it down to make sure that that glue bonded nice and securely, and that was it. This DIY took no time at all, and you guys, this table makes a statement when you come into my house. I love the way it looks. It gives off all the boho vibes that I love, and I get to take a look at my baskets, which I got for a great price in my house every day, even though I didn't get my pendant lamp. Now, for my next DIY, I'm going to be using this picture frame that I found at Goodwill, but you guys, I've seen this exact same frame at the Dollar Tree, so I thought it was funny, but I got it at the thrift store for 99 cents, so technically I got a deal. I'm going to go ahead and paint this frame with some plaster colored chalk paint. I thought white would be nice too, but this nice off-white color I thought would look really nice with all the wood tones that I have going on in my home lately. It took me about 2 to 3 coats to get good coverage, and I wasn't so concerned about getting the color completely thick and completely covered because I wanted this to have some texture to it, and I wanted to make sure that that pattern and the raised edges in the frame really were able to show through. Once my paint was dry, I came back with some gold acrylic paint, and I wanted to just highlight this pattern in the raised ridges that were already on the picture frame. And I didn't want this to look perfect. I wanted it to look kind of brushed on and kind of a little more laid back feel to this picture frame because I wanted to glow it up a little bit, but I also wanted it to look hand painted. So I lightly brushed over all the ridges, and they were really easy to follow to get that really cool pattern in there. Now, if you want yours to look more precise, one trick that one of my subscribers gave me was to dip the tip of your paintbrush in a little bit of Mod Podge and let it dry so you get a really fine tip on your paintbrush, and then you can dip it in your paint and paint really fine straight lines with it, which I thought was really cool. In this particular project, I wanted more of a wispy look, but if you like it to look more precise, that's something that you can try out. Now, once I had all my ridges covered and everything was dried up, I wanted it to have more of a glossy feel to it, so it looked more like an enamel picture frame. So I decided to use this satin Mod Podge, and I did about 3 to 4 layers over everything to make it look nice and glossy. And that was it for this Dollar Tree / Goodwill find. I was able to create this picture frame, which I think looks great in my entryway. I need to find some pictures to put in all the picture frames that I have around my house, but I think this one is going to be a great addition, and it's really going to give my home a nice warm feeling, and I just love it. Okay, so out of the DIYs today, I'm not sure. I think my favorite might be that table that I created. I mean, I knew I was gonna love it because I love those baskets, but I was not prepared for how obsessed with that end table I was going to be. But I also really love that lamp. I mean, it's a complete vibe. When I turn the lights off and then just turn that lamp on in our entryway, it just kind of creates that mellow mood with the cool like pattern on the wall, and I'm just absolutely in love with it. But make sure you head down to the comments and let me know which DIY was your favorite. So for today's treat, instead of something sweet, I decided to go a little bit savory. And I love how these turned out. It's the first time I'm making them. They were super simple, and I just have so many ideas in my head of how I can kind of change it up, customize it, and make it a sure family favorite around here. So I hope you like them. Okay guys, it's time to eat. Okay guys, today's treat, easy jalapeno popper pizza rolls. I'm not sure if that's what they're really called, but I will leave the blog that inspired these yummy treats down in the description box, so be sure to check it out. I'm going to start out with a block of cream cheese, and to that I'm going to add some chopped up jalapenos. You can do more or less according to your taste, and I'm going to add some cheddar cheese to that. Now, there was a recipe for this. I did not follow it. I just kind of eyeballed it and put in what looked good, which I love recipes like that. And when it comes to cheese, I really just feel like you need to follow your heart on that situation. So put as much cheese in as you feel is right for you. Once I have that mixture completely combined, I'm going to go ahead and grab a ready-made refrigerated pizza dough crust, and I'm going to roll that out onto a piece of parchment paper. Next, I'm going to just layer on my cheese mixture, and I'm going to cover the entire surface of my pizza dough. And at this point, you can add more cheese if you like to. And when I was doing this, guys, this was the first time I tried it. I felt like this was a lot of cheese, so I actually left a little bit of the mixture in the bowl. And I can tell you after trying it that this is absolutely amazingly delicious, and you should put every last bit of cheese mixture that you have into it, because that will just up the deliciousness factor by like 1,000. I went ahead and added a little more cheese on top, and then I turned it, and starting at the shorter end, I'm just going to roll it up into one nice big roll. Once that's done, I'm going to use a sharp knife, and I'm just going to cut it into rolls, and I'm going to leave it on my parchment paper, making sure to leave about 1 inch or 2 in between my rolls, because these are going to puff up a little bit and you want them to have a little bit of room to expand as they bake. I'm going to take this and put it into the oven, and while that is baking, I'm going to get some butter and some garlic. The recipe also called for salt, but I was using salted butter, so I just omitted that, and I'm going to melt it in the microwave. Now, once my rolls come out of the oven and they're full of this cheesy, gooey goodness, I'm going to go ahead and brush my butter mixture right on top. And you guys, at this point, I was like just waiting for these things to cool down so I could take a bite out of them. Then for a little pop of color on top, I went ahead and sprinkled some parsley, and that was it. These were so cheesy, so delicious. A little bit of spice, you guys, they were heaven. I hope you enjoyed the DIYs I had for you today. Don't forget to head down to the comments and let me know which DIY was your favorite. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, be sure to check the description box for the link to Skillshare. And I will see you next time when we repeat it all again.